Hi guys, my name is Chloe, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing the Beauty and the Beast book tag. So I was so happy to discover this tag when Amy from BookTube with Amy tagged me in this one because I love Beauty and the Beast. It's probably my all-time favourite Disney movie, and just Beauty and the Beast retellings and stuff like that are some of my favourite things to read. So I was thrilled to discover this tag, and I really enjoyed watching Amy's video as well, so definitely go check her out. I will link her in the description box down below. Now this tag is really interesting because it's based on each song in Beauty and the Beast, and this one has been updated to include the songs from the live action movie as well, so there are 10 prompts based on 10 songs from the movie. So yeah, let's just get started. So the first prompt is "Oh what a guy, Gaston, a villain you can't help but love." And for this one I'm gonna go for Nefarian Serpine from Skullduggery Pleasant. Not from this book, this is the first book in the series, because he is awful in this one and a really good but really bad villain. But I'm choosing him because later on in the series we meet an alternative version of him from a different world, and it's that version of Nefarian Serpine that you can't help but love. Like, I don't think he really is a villain in the world, so it might be kind of cheating in a way, but when I think of Nefarian Serpine I do think of him as one of the main villains in this series, so I'm still going to choose him. But yeah, definitely not from this book, from later on in the series. The next prompt is "Here's where she meets Prince Charming, your OTP." And for this one I had to go with Jem, Tessa and Will from The Clockwork Angel, because I just ship them all together. I wish they could have all been together happily at the same time. But yeah, I ship Jem and Tessa, I ship Jem and Will, Tessa and Will, all three of them. I just love these characters so much, and I just love it when they're all together having a great time, and so this has to be my OTP. The next prompt is "I want so much more than this provincial life," and this is a character that's destined for greater things. And for this one I'm not too sure if it will go that way, because for this one I'm choosing Amari from Amari and the Night Brothers, and I'm currently reading this book, so I'm about 2/3 of the way through, and I just want Amari to go on and do brilliant things, because she is talented, and especially because of the way that her classmates and other people treat her. It's so awful, and I just want her to do so well and leave them all behind, and that's what I'm hoping. But yeah, I'll just have to see how the series plays out. The next prompt is "Be Our Guest, a book that made you hungry." For this one I'm also choosing a recent read. It's one I read on ebook and audio, and this one is "A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking" by T. Kingfisher. This one is kind of like a whimsical magical book that focuses on a girl who has magical powers related to baking. So she can make sentient gingerbread, they have a sentient sourdough starter in her bakery, and she can just, yeah, she ends up making pieces out of bread and cookie dough and stuff like that in order to help with their mission. And yeah, it was just the way that the food was described in this book. It had to be described in a way that it could be believed that they were going to use these, I know, bread people to fight an army, so it was going into the detail of getting the strong crust but the pliant dough, and it's just the way it was worded, I just always felt hungry, and yeah, so I'm gonna go with that one. The next prompt is "Beauty and the Beast," and this is "Opposites Attract." And for this one I'm gonna go with Adam and Olive from The Love Hypothesis, because this book is going around a lot recently in the BookTube videos that I'm watching at the moment, and I'm really trying not to reread this book right now, so I'm going to go for these characters. You've got Adam, who's like the grumpy professor, and then Olive is the complete opposite. She's quite happy and quite carefree, and it is a grumpy sunshine romance, so gonna go with that one. The next prompt is "But there's something in him that I simply didn't see," and this is a character who is more than they appear. And for this one I'm gonna go with Charles from Illusions of Grandeur, and this is book 1 in the Julian Strand duology. In this book we follow Alice, and she takes a job at this house as almost like a caretaker, But yeah, this house is haunted by the ghost Julian Strand, and it goes from there. And Charles is also there living in the house. I think he's the one that hires her. And yeah, I can't say anything because it's spoilers, but there's something going on with Charles that was completely unexpected and completely took me by surprise. So I'm going to go with Charles. Prompt 7 is I was innocent and certain, and now I'm wiser and unsure. And this is a book that changed you in some way. This one was quite hard to answer. It took me probably the longest to think of an answer for this prompt because I really wasn't too sure. Like, a lot of books have changed me. But yeah, and so for this one I'm gonna go with Before I Go to Sleep by S.J. Watson, and this isn't because it sort of changed me as a person in some way, but this one definitely played a part in some of my reading tastes, I feel. So I read this one quite early on, and this was the first ever thriller and possibly the first ever adult book that I ever read, and I enjoyed it so much. I got it in a charity shop that I'd always be on the lookout for more thrillers and stuff as I went in to charity shops, and I don't think if I read this one when I did that I would be as into thrillers and mysteries and stuff like that now. I think eventually I would have picked one up, but I think it definitely helped that I picked it up when I did and that I enjoyed this one as much as I did then. I don't know if I'd enjoy this one as much upon a reread because I've only read it once and that was ages ago, because I've read so many great thrillers then, but yeah, it definitely helped me pick up more, so I'm going to go with this one. The next prompt is Kill the Beast, and this is a book you picked up because of the hype. And for this one I'm kind of cheating. I do have two answers and they're two that really stood out to me. So the first one is going to be a book that I picked up because of the hype and then I didn't like it. And this one is going to be Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. This is an alien smutty romance and it just wasn't for me. There were a couple of like breeding and pregnancy tropes that I didn't like. It's just not something I want to read about. So yeah, I didn't like that one. But then the next book that I picked up because of the hype and one that I really loved is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. Yeah, this one was just amazing. I didn't know anything about this book really. I knew it was a YA thriller and I just saw it cropping up all over the place and I was like, okay, I need to read this. So I picked it up on Scribd, stayed up super late starting to read it, and then when I went to go and do some shopping the next day, they had all 3 books there, so I picked up physical copies and yeah, I can't wait to reread these books. They're so great. The next prompt is I'll Never Shake Away the Pain, and this is a book or moment that always makes you cry. And this one I thought initially was going to be tricky because recently I've been reading a lot of books that have made me cry or almost make me cry or made me really emotional, but those are the books that I've only read first time, which wasn't really what the prompt was asking. So then it took me a bit longer, but then I was like, well, there's one, and an obvious one for me really, and that is Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare, the final book in the Infernal Devices series. The ending to this book and the epilogue will just either have me in complete tears or just have a silent tear run down my face as I read this, and I've read this one about at least 3 times now I think, and yeah, every time I've just been in tears. And if you know, you know. If you haven't, pick up the series, it's great. Probably my favourite of the Shadowhunter works so far that I've read. And the final prompt for this tag is How Does a Moment Last Forever? A book you loved since you were little. And this one was also kind of tricky because a lot of the books that I enjoyed I have now unhauled. The main ones being like the Rainbow Magic books, the fairy one I think. Loved those, got rid of them, don't love them now. So it took a bit of time to find one now that I still love that I read fairly young. And this one I didn't really read when I was a child. I think I was over 12 or 13, so like preteen. And this one is Vampirates Demons of the Ocean by Justin Somper. I love this series. I'm currently rereading it at the moment and have reread the first book. I still loved it. I still gave it 5 stars. So therefore I'm counting this book as a book I've loved since childhood because I read it when I was about 12, read it now, still loved it. So that's why I've chosen this one for the list. But yeah, I just love this book so much and I can't wait to continue with the series. It's just such a cozy, well, not really cozy, but just such a fun time with vampirates and pirates and adventure, and yeah, I just love this book. So that was it. Those were all the prompts for the Beauty and the Beast book tag. Thank you so much again, Amy, for tagging me in this one. I've really enjoyed putting my answers together. I don't really have anyone to tag today, so if you're watching this and you want to give this tag a go for it and then tag me. I would love to see your answers. But yeah, otherwise, I hope you are enjoying your current reads and I will see you in the next one. Bye!